A sizzling second Superfoiler Grand Prix regatta ramped up the racing in Geelong, and victory in Victoria would prove difficult to snare.
Warm yourself up, Aplenty.
Would love a line on here.
Record Point has found more trouble here. This time it's freestyle. Good to see the Poms are learning the Australian technique. Harry's going the one booty there. It's a good look. Don't know if it'll catch on.
We had to work for that one, boys.
I hope you packed your sunscreen. We're in blisteringly hot Queensland for stage 3 of the Superfoiler Grand Prix here on the Gold Coast. Behind me, surfer's paradise. In front of me, not quite a sailor's paradise, given there are huge sandbars, and also, Jimmy, the odd shark sighting.
Yeah, Nick, we've got a fast and short racetrack here, so I know the sailors are stoked and up for the challenge. There's been some big improvements made recently, and I know we're going to see tight racing, so I can't wait to see them out there.
Absolutely. Our stage yesterday was very tight indeed. Plenty of improvements on the track. As our sailors proved, Euroflex wasn't invincible after all. Day one in the third leg of the Superfoiler Grand Prix circuit, and there was no treasure at the end of Pavement's Gold Coast Rainbow.
Get on the radar, tell me hit the bottom.
Steve Thomas and the boys dashed in the race opener, a damaged board denying them more.
Team Pavement, we are sails down and ashore. We're just going to try and get off the racetrack.
No such problems for Euroflex. Nathan Outeridge, Ian Jensen and Glenn Ashby chalking up their sweet 16th of the series.
We're finished. So you want to stop or keep going?
But it was Cleanmate cleaning up on the Broadwater. Olivia Price, Josh McKnight and Harry Morton with second place, their top gong of the series.
Yeah, alright, that was thing, right?
Race 2 and Tech 2 nibbled off more than they could chew. Penalised at the start and still kicking themselves after racing.
Yeah, today we couldn't start a lawnmower. We're last off every start, I think.
In contrast, Record Point did launch well in the second.
Straight into tack, go forward. Happy for board. Go, ready, big trims. Go, boys, go.
The fastest race yet, 30 knots with change, before a clumsy moment left the dark horse in the shade of the Blue Monster.
Board, lower board, lower board. Oh, no good.
That sort of let us by, and I'm sure that's two that we've won through other people's mistakes, and they'll just get better and better, and we won't get those ones.
In the final fling, Euroflex again mopped up at the front as Phil Robertson roared in front of his family and friends.
Here we go.
Who had journeyed from Sweden and New Zealand. Plenty for them to cheer about.
Yeah, we felt good. Felt like the boat was getting in a different mode, and had a few little technical problems on board, but it was actually working in our favour.
Record Point en route to another second place. Taking a look at our regatta leaderboard now, Euroflex with another clean sweep, bagging 18 points. Behind them, Record Point, another good Friday session. They're on 13, and just a point behind them, Tech 2. But Jimmy, the big standout from our first day of racing was the Cleanmate.
Yeah, for sure. CleanMade really got the regatta off on the right foot. We know they love the short racetrack, so it's going to be really exciting to see what they pull out of the bag today.
Yes, it is a short racetrack. Plenty of good speed eked out of these machines yesterday. Let's find out if we can expect the same kind of conditions. Let's head to Jack.
G'day Nick, yeah, out on the beautiful Gold Coast waters. It's a stunning afternoon out here. A very tricky waterway to sail on. We've got about 3 knots of current flooding under the boat as we speak, which is going to really test the boats and the crews today. We've got a lovely 12 to 15 knot southeasterly breeze, and the boats can expect a lot of action. It's just stunning out here, lots of spectators, lots of bikinis. Pretty good to be here, Tricky Nicky.
Jack McCartney with one of the toughest jobs in world sport as we pan across a beautiful vista of the Gold Coast here. And my co-commentator Tessa Parkinson, an Olympian, you're familiar with racing in tricky conditions, and the currents here in Queensland could be hard.
Yeah, Nick, look, the current really changes the racetrack. This is going to be super hard for the sailors. It's very narrow. The boundary lines are going to come up quickly and lots of manoeuvres are going to be needed for the teams to get around the marks. The current here is against the wind, which also builds up the wave state, adding another dimension to the racetrack.
Shark. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Well, there's plenty of dimensions, and one of them is what lurks beneath. Our skippers found out some of the locals were curious here on the Gold Coast.
Where is it? Just there.
It was literally, yeah.
I reckon there's a lot of manta rays in here though.
No, that was a...
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. The rumours were alligators here, but definitely sharks.
Yeah.
Sharks and alligators. Boys said they saw a shark. I wasn't convinced. I think they might have been winding me up. But I've actually heard there's a few crocodiles down here, which everything in Australia seems to kill you. It's ridiculous.
Paul Campbell-James of Team ID Intranet there, a bit of a tongue-in-cheek response. He's loving his time here. As I told Dad he should take the ferry, not the paddle boat. Not to worry, we're not far away from getting underway here in our opening race for Saturday.
And you can see the boats getting their position here pre-start. Sam Phillips on the main sheet of record point.
Little ears on the gear block.
Yep.
2, 1, go.
Let's go, let's advance a bit.
We are almost underway. Don't go anywhere. Racing is next.
They're on radio.
This week we're up in Brisbane, the Gold Coast. It's smoking hot, you know.
This heat is just killing us all. Feels like I've just come out of a swimming pool, it's that humid.
It's just another day, so build day, and yeah, we've got to put in a lot of work.
Round 3 of the Grand Prix, so bring it on.
Incredible to think that these rock stars of the sport put in so many hours behind the scenes to get it all together. It'd be like Metallica building the stage they play on.
Yeah, 2, 1, tacking, there's 35, right? Back it. Go, boys.
We are moments away from racing in our opening skirmish here on the Gold Coast for Saturday. Seconds away.
Your boys. Oh, we're racing. What? Okay. Full trap lock.
Pavement here hasn't realised that the start's away.
I can't get a radio most of the time. Copy.
And Reece Mara there saying it was a communications issue. It didn't quite catch the radio, and this is going to be costly for Pavement as they scramble away. ID Tech 2 and Record Point with the best of the start, and Pavement very much with the worst of it. They're on another planet right now, and they're going to have to scramble desperately.
Take the shot, take the suck up. 2, 1, and driving. Full swing on the exit. Whoa.
All swinging late, and they've picked up a marker.
Got it.
Oh, from bad to worse.
Go board. Attacking.
Tech 2, their first tack off the start line. They had a nice lane on the inside with good pressure there.
Boat on it.
Too much buoyancy.
Can you get the chain, lift the chain up around it? Might have to go under the water.
Oh, an absolute chaos from pavement, a disastrous start as the racing continues, Jimmy.
Yeah, an absolute shocker there. You could see pavement, they were late to the start, rushing to get back, bit of fever on board, and all they had to do was a U-turn around that buoy. And you know those rudders, they come down off the boat, the big T rudder on the bottom there, and it's so easy to catch a mark.
Steve Thomas and the lads, they've had a shocker here in the Gold Coast, and this is going to really sting.
In the water.
Yeah, no one's waiting around. The young guy, Lockie Gilmore, new inclusion to the pavement team at this event. He's 21 years of age, one of the youngest on the circuit, and that's classic nipper in the water, straight up, get the rope off the rudder.
And one of the lads from the shore team is swimming around like a porpoise there as well, trying to free the rudder. It's all hands.
Go jib port, jib port, jib port. Okay, we're coming out on port here, lock.
And chaos behind and racing out front, Tessa.
Yeah, ID have had a good start as well. They were the leeward boat. They're going out to the right-hand side of the course, and on board here, Team Euroflex on starboard heading out to the left. So we've got to split up the racetrack. ID most right, Tech 2 in the middle of the course, and Euroflex heading out the left.
And an excellent idea as to just how tight this race course is at the moment. Really not much room to manoeuvre, so all the boats are going to condense. We could see at least 5 Superfoilers coming to a head at this mark. And it looks like a close one between Phil Robertson and Record Point and Tech 2 here. This could be nasty if they get it wrong.
Record Point on starboard.
Oh, that was close, missing by a whisker.
Tech 2 just made in front, but Tech 2 here tacking so close to ID.
No room! Protest!
Well, protest is one thing, but that is another calamity on our opening race here on Saturday. The finger of blame being pointed. And that is the second time I've heard Paul Campbell-James raise his voice this whole entire series. The second one was if I asked him if he wanted milk in his tea. He's absolutely furious today. That could be race over for them.
Oh, for good reason, Nick. You know, that's just Tech 2 have tacked right in front of ID here, leaving ID with nowhere to go but run up and into that mark and get hooked there. And the issue is Tech 2 get a penalty from the umpires, but that's almost race over for ID, so pretty disappointing there.
Nerves of steel from Paul Campbell-James here. And look at this, they actually do touch there, I believe. That is a really close call. Lucky no one was hurt. But Paul Campbell-James, that'll mean nothing to him. He'll want a showdown in the boat park with Luke Parkinson after that. You can bet on it.
Oh, that's just so tough going. I hope they can get the mark off and get back in the race. But on the downwind, Euroflex are leading the race. They're benefiting the most here.
Yeah, Nate's got it absolutely dialed here on the Euroflex. He's up on the foils. Everyone's falling over around him here a little bit. Oh, and there you go, Tech 2 struggling with the bear away. Leeward hull completely under, so close to a capsize there.
It's absolutely all happening.
Plenty of racing here, guys. We're good.
Luke Parkinson's keeping a cool head, but Jack McCartney, it's pretty hot out there at the moment. Crazy scenes.
Nick, there's plenty of current, and the current's the cause of a lot of the action. And the Tech 2 guys just tried to bear away, and their leeward board popped up, and that was why their leeward float went underwater. So plenty happening. It's just there's a lot of current running down here, so it's very, very tricky conditions.
Certainly hard as, oh, Ian Jensen's gone over. He's in a precarious position. Let go, son. Oh, I think he's clear. Oh, my word, that was a close one. That was nasty, that was high speed, and that was dangerous stuff.
Yes, super gnarly situation, that one. You can see there's those appendages hanging down, the rudder and the centreboard, and your worst nightmare is coming off the boat and hitting one of them. So now Nath, he's got to try and get back downwind, try and pick him up. Hopefully the pro guarding guys can whip him onto a jet ski, and they're just going to keep racing here. But that was incredibly close. I can't believe how he was just hanging on there. And luckily picked the right moment to let go, picked the right moment to get away from the boat.
Jensen jettisoning at the right time, and such a relief to see him scrambling back on board. He'll be shaky as anything and feel like he's in an earthquake zone at the moment after that really nasty moment. He would have had his heart in his mouth as he was looking at the Gold Coast skyline. He would have thought he was on the Wet n Wild ride test looking at this one.
Yeah, Nick, he did so well to hold on there for so long. He didn't want to let go at all, but such a scary angle to watch this from. He did missed the foils completely. A bit of concern from Glenn and Nathan. That's not what you want, having a crew member falling over at such high speed there. Far out, so close to the water there. And he lets go.
And just a relief that Ian Jensen is okay. He got back on, and astoundingly, somehow, Euroflex is still our race leader. They can lose a man overboard, recover him, and then put more metres on everyone else. But Record Point chasing hard in second.
Yeah, it's too much, mate, I think, eh? Oh, no, that's me. Sorry, boy. No, really speeding on, my bad.
On board Record Point, getting the main trim matched with the foil lift. And you can see Ian Jensen on the bow just retying up. His trapeze elastic would have snapped when he fell overboard.
Go, boys. Go.
Record Point putting in a solid downwind here. They're linking the pressures together well, and they're handling the boat in these tough conditions. Approaching the bottom gate.
And here we go. You can see Phil trying to get a piece of him as they come into the bottom gate, and we do have a bottom gate here. It's 1 mark at the top, 2 down the bottom. So here's a big decision. Do you go left or right? And you can see if you get down speed there, Euroflex barely able to get around that mark. These boats, when they come off the foils, they're like glue, and with this tide playing into that as well, they're going to be even stickier trying to get onto the foils if they've fallen off.
Go strings.
Yeah, with the current against the wind, you've got to be conservative in your steering around the bottom mark to give it a nice wide line and not run into the anchor line. So we've got a split here. Record Point heading out to the right, Euroflex out to the left.
Could prove to be a tactically key moment there as we're back taking a look at the demise of ID Intranet after a tangle there. Things have cooled down. We can see Ed Powys on the chase boat, Fang Warren and CJ refusing to let go of the tiller. It's emotional stuff for them as Tech 2, somewhat unfairly, one would argue, continue their race. We'll see if ID manage to make it back.
We're good, crossing.
We're out prospecting here on the Gold Coast.
More rake in this one. Stand by, drive.
And so far, a few nuggets of gold or nuggets of luck for Tech 2.
Copy that. Call me in, Sammy.
Their race continues. ID's limps on as we've got a battle with Euroflex again at the head.
Boat feels really unbalanced, okay? 2, 1, go.
Tess, it's Record Point that's chasing Euroflex all the way.
So many manoeuvres in this race, Nick. They're tacking and jibing.
Sorry, lads. Hook me.
You can hear the skippers asking the bowmen for some feedback as to where they're at relative to the ley lines.
It's tense stuff out there, and we haven't even spoken about just how shallow this race course is as well. At parts, it gets down to 2 metres really, really quickly, and these boats draft more than 3 metres, so it's tense and terrific out there.
Oh, the work intensity on board for the bowmen, pulling that board down and lifting the new one up, hooking it back out on the wire after every tack. They would just be getting so tired out there. We're on the second upwind here of the race.
Tess, I'm tired just looking at it at the moment. Record Point are closing the margin to Euroflex. They're in second, but very much eyeballing first position at the moment. It's all going well on Record Point.
Sorry, easy, swing. Okay, go main.
The commentators curse there, unfortunately, for Phil Robertson. I'm sorry about that, buddy. Don't send me any hate mail as we see Euroflex taking it to the depths of the course at the moment. They'll be enjoying their recovery from a tense moment earlier on board the series frontrunner.
Yeah, they must be doing 4 or 5 tacks up these beats, and as you know, that tide is even helping them upwind, so that's making it, should be making it even less manoeuvres and easier. You can see Euroflex, they've tacked on the ley line, and they're actually going to be coming in really hot. ID, Paul Campbell-James, is still in trouble from that top mark. He's possibly still attached to the buoy. He's got some kind of issues. Euroflex going to have to go around him here.
Yeah, CJ, you can see him on the radio. He'd be consulting with the race officer as to what they can do about the race. And Euroflex smoking around the top there. It's really hard for these guys with the chop that's been caused by the current to keep stable flight above the water. You can see the middle hull just crashing down with the differences in pressure here, and there's a lot of resistance on the boats on the downwind because they're sailing into the current. So the way they trim the foils is going to be different from what they're used to.
Tess, it'd be like running up a sand dune in hotel slippers. It would not be easy to get grip. Record Point will see if they struggle as well, Jack. It is all happening on course.
Ready to drive?
So plenty of action down here, Nick. We're just cruising up the course with Tech 2 and the Clean Mate, both doing an excellent job, but really treacherous with this extra tide running out of the course.
Treacherous is a great word for it, Jack. We can see at the moment even Record Point's lead is precarious. It's 200 metres. She's on a different leg of the course to Clean Mate and Tech 2, who are in 3rd and 4th position. But that gap could close quickly because there isn't much real estate here on the Gold Coast. It's a very narrow runway, and the boats are going to really come together as we see Tech 2 and Clean Mate converging again.
Wow, big bear away from Clean Mate. Are they going to make it behind? Oh, good job saving the capsize there. Tech 2 had right of way. They called starboard and Clean Mate had to avoid.
Starboard! Starboard!
Oh, Luke Parkinson is in the thick of the action today. He's really going to have some tales to tell.
One go board. Speed build. Yeah.
So there's no top mark. They're rounding the jet ski.
Bear away.
They need to build speed here before the bear away so that they can get foiling.
And plenty of talk amongst Clean Mate and Tech 2 at the moment. Tech 2's just rolled over the top of Clean Mate in that last close call.
Bearing away, 2!
Interestingly, these guys are 4-point foiling here just to get more distance to the boundary before they've got to jibe.
Yeah, coming up to a boundary. Get in. I need you in.
Plenty of chaos unfolding behind as Euroflex extends her buffer at the top to 300 metres. But Jimmy, the battle between Clean Mate and Tech 2 was a close one.
Plenty happening on Clean Mate there in that rounding. You can see how one mistake just snowballs in these races with the boundaries so close to racing so tight. You know, one mistake just snowballs, it gets worse and worse, and that's where the good skippers will really separate themselves here, is the level head trying to clear their wind and just get the boat going. Just forget about the other boats for a moment and just sail your own race.
Jack, we're hearing there's no top mark. What's happened there?
I think as a result of ID catching the top mark, they may have had to let the chain and rope go. So I'm not too sure, but I can't see it at the moment. So it'll have to be fixed for the next race.
Pavement, this is a great get out of jail free card for them. They're now in 4th position after being last and hooked at the starting line.
Okay, 2, 1, you're in, lock.
Still a huge gap.
Jibe in 3, 2, 1, and jibe in.
For the Sydney to Hobart winner Steve Thomas to try and close in on the machines ahead of him, but so far it's been a great job clawing back into contention from those guys.
Oh, skippity skip.
Phil Robertson
My bad,
there.
boys. Board's just blowing up, but we're jibing to the mark soon, okay?
Our second place getter getting pretty colourful.
2, 1, jibing here.
Just getting the trim of the foils comfortable coming into the bottom mark.
Pull, mate. But we can't crash jibe like that if you try and step. Gotta go past this mark so we don't hit it. Yeah. 2, 1, here we go.
And the pressure's increasing on Phil Robertson's shoulders because Luke Parkinson and Tech 2 are now giving them something to think about as Tech 2 points her nose straight at Record Point and says, I'm coming for you.
3, jibing, before, 3, 2, 1, coasting.
Coasting, they're just getting a bit of depth at the entry of the jibe.
Ready to go straight back?
No, straight. That's all right, it's all right.
Copy.
Aidan asking, are we going to jibe back and go round the right mark?
2, 1, board up.
Made the decision to round the left there so they didn't have to do an extra jibe.
So a good old-fashioned split. Tech 2 thinking there's a bit more puff closer towards the glitter strip, while Record Point are heading further out to sea.
Stand by. 2, 1, go board.
Record Point have done a great job there. They've got leverage to windward. They got to their boundary nice and early, so they'll have a long run now on this tack.
Yep, copy that. Let's go fast, guys. Yep, and trim on now.
A nice little battle for second at the moment between Tech 2 and Record Point. Tech 2, the architect of ID's demise early on. Now they want to be the architect of record points disappointment. We'll see these two exchange blows. Who'll come out on top? We'll have to wait and see. Welcome back to Queensland. Moments ago we had some breaking news and Jack McCartney has all the wash up.
Yeah, so I'm just tootling down to the start boat now, but the race has been officially abandoned. Essentially the conditions down at the southern end of the course, the top mark if you like, is just too treacherous. So I'm going down to speak to the water police now just to see what they've got in store and maybe a slight adjustment of the course.
And Jack, obviously it is treacherous out there, but from the best of my knowledge, everyone's okay and under control.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. Everyone's getting around. There's been a few tense moments, no doubt, but no, everyone's okay. It's just about making sure that the course doesn't push the boats into bad areas. So that's what we're going to go down and sort out now.
Jack McCartney always with a smile. There'll be a few smiles on Clean Made there that race was red flagged. Euroflex were in the lead of 6 minutes and 16 seconds of racing ahead of Record Point and Tech 2. But ID Intranet, they will be blowing up Deluxe after their race was virtually ruined by the antics of Tech 2, and Paul Campbell-James was smiting at the time. He's calmed down a little bit, and right now he's talking to our own Jack McCartney.
CJ, that looked pretty tight up at the top mark. What happened with Tech 2?
Yeah, you know, coming in with rights and they closed the door and we absolutely smashed into the windward mark. Yeah, pretty disappointed. Obviously damaged the boat a little bit, took us forever to get off. You know, in hindsight we probably should have bailed out earlier and saw it happening, but yeah, we ran over it and then there's 3 knots of tide. We're sailing backwards as fast as we can, but we can't do more than 4 knots backwards. So yeah, it's bloody hard to get off the thing and yeah, we just got stuck there forever, but we still got a finish.
That looked pretty treacherous at the top mark up there. That's full-on sailing. I haven't seen it that serious for a while. Tell us what was going on.
Yeah, you know, we were all coming in at once. You know, Euroflex had a small lead and then there was about 4 boats all pretty tight on each other, and I think that's going to be the way of the day because, you know, there's a big battle for second at the moment, and yeah, I think that's going to continue for the rest of the season, and hopefully we can get a few off Euroflex as well.
Great stuff.
Tempers like the sea state here at the moment are certainly swelling around, Tess Parkinson.
Yeah, Nick, you can see the big waves offshore. We're lucky we're pretty sheltered in the harbour where our racetrack is.
Tess, we are too sheltered, you and I. We haven't been out delighting on all the things we can on Surfers Paradise. Phil Robertson didn't have that problem though. He dragged me along to one of the best spots to go for a bite, Rick Shaw's, and we feasted on one of the local delicacies there.
Welcome to Rick Shaw's.
How are you?
I'm well, how are
Nice,
you?
yeah, very good.
Come on through.
Best beauty. How good is it, eh? Oh, nice. Look at that.
This is the famous bug roll.
Bug rolls.
I believe it's a sea bug, just to put your mind at ease.
Okay, that's good. I thought it was an Australian thing. Bug rolls. So that's the speciality dish here, is it?
This is what they're known for.
Hit it. Let's go.
You go first, mate.
Nice. Yeah, wow. They've obviously got some secrets with this little guy. That's very good, actually.
So have you enjoyed being part of the series and getting to see a bit more of Oz? Like, how much had you seen of Australia before the series?
Done the classics, Sydney, Perth, Tasmania, old Hobart. So, no, look, it's been very cool.
Yeah, and Gold Coast is turning it on. On the water, on the table. It's pretty epic here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool little spot. I think we've found the top restaurant right now, so.
And for you, I mean, the Superfoiler series so far, tough work first week. That was hard.
Adelaide being the first event of the Superfoilers, we sort of injured pretty much all our crew the day before the event and had to start fresh with a new crew on the first day of racing, and that was tough. It was a bit of a kick in the balls and a reality check, and sort of felt like you sucked at sailing again. So as a professional sailor, that's quite embarrassing. But look, we came back into Geelong with I guess a slightly different team, and yeah, hit our straps a little bit on the first day, which is nice. And look, we're just trying to peak for Sydney and know that's the most important event. That's the grand final, and yeah, that's where we want to be, hitting our straps.
It was almost like you peaked in Geelong though, because you very almost nearly jagged the big win.
The good thing about not winning that race was the lessons we learned from it, and I think one of the a great coach that I've had in my time said, you know, if you lose a race, never lose the lesson. And I think if we won that race, we might have lost those lessons altogether, so we wouldn't have even thought of them. We would have just been stoked to have won. So it's a good place to be, and if we can hit the podium here, I'd say we'll have smiles on our faces. So yeah, that's the plan, and we'll try and tick it off.
I reckon you can do it.
Nice one.
The Kiwi contender there, Phil Robertson, is racing in front of his family for just the second time live. His parents journeying across from New Zealand, and he'll be keen to put on a show for them and his partner Sarah from Sweden. So far, so good. We're ready for the next race.
Yeah, we should have gone further and then tacked. We had a great start. Should have gone. We shouldn't have tacked when the other guys tacked. Should have gone further, then we would have made it, and then we would have made it.
A debrief on Tech 2 as we get ready.
Yeah, I might have just had a click too much rudder rake or something. We just never really got it like that. Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen my parents?
And Phil, number one priority is putting on a show for the family. He'll do that very soon. Welcome back to the Gold Coast, where so far we've seen non-stop action.
I set my own salary, living a dream, the alternate reality. Cash rules, that's my everyday mentality. Guess that's why all these haters are mad at me. Oh, no, you digging the flow. Music's chilling while I'm spilling these spillers, it's cars. Look at how we shine. This is the life, house on the heat.
Queensland has cued the chaos, and we're just a handful of seconds away from the start of our second race here on Saturday, and already it's all been happening on the water.
We haven't got long on the other after the boy for attack, but
ID, it looks like they're back.
Let's go trimming on, we'll go under CJ.
Probably a bit of a reach here, so just have Trav in hand.
Jack, what's happening on the water?
Plenty of action down here, Nick. Just having a good yarn with the water police down here who are doing an excellent job. But what have we got? The boats are lining up, the course has been reset. Similar amount of pressure, so looking good for a great start here, Nick.
Let's hope for that. Let's hope Pavement can make a better start than last time around.
11, 10, 9, 8, 2, 1, attacking.
6 seconds to go to the start.
Need a better way hard here.
Big split on the line. You can see 3 boats away on port. ID opting to start on starboard. We've got a split approach here, and Pavement, they're struggling to bear away behind the race committee boat.
Keep tacking, guys, keep tacking. Cut the jib, ease the jib off.
A bit of frustration as they try and get away from the race committee boat, but up the course here. Great speed. Tech 2's got away on that leeward position. It's going to be interesting to see when they converge. ID going way out the left.
Speed build.
And Record Point in a bit of bad air there, opting to tack out. Great drag race between Tech 2 and Euroflex.
Here we go, up the top of the track. Euroflex just putting the bow down over Luke Parkinson.
And Sam on the bow there working hard. Lots of tacks needed on this racetrack as they sail from boundary to boundary.
2, 1, turning up.
And Pavement returning to the start line.
Have we gone through the line, Reece? Yeah. Sure? Yes, I've heard it.
Okay. So much turbulence on Pavement right now, they're not even sure if they're starting the race. They really fluffed the start. We're having a look at that now. Pavement, they minced the first race of the day, and they're going to come undone on the second one. Look at that, lining up the Southport Yacht Club boat there. Reece Mara goes head over heels there, and they're just flying blind towards that committee boat. And there is contact. That would be the insurance company's worst nightmare. They would have just been seeing dollar signs and a massive payout there somehow.
Away hard here.
Pavement managed to keep going, but look at this. This is the best view in the house for this one of Reece going over. And Dan Morris trying not to walk the plank there, but no one was in control of Pavement. Further ahead, we've got our race leader. Euroflex has got a bit of a jump on Tech 2 at the moment. Better course position and just looking to block out Tech 2.
Boats are so nice to sail once you get a bit of runway here. Pretty gusty up the course though. Lots of adjustments needed with the main trim, the traveller and the rudder foils.
Just out of tax.
This is our third place getter at the moment.
They're calling how far are we from the boundary. So the boundaries are the limitations of the courses here. They're trying to go as far as they can up towards them.
Yeah, so Phil Robertson on record point, getting some good leverage into the right as they approach the top mark. You can see the meters coming down. 40, 30, 25, 20 metres. He's almost in the lead over Euroflex. It's who going to be gets the next puff at the top mark. Who can get around this single mark, starboard rounding, who can get there first.
Looks like a bit of a guessing game out there at the moment, Jimmy, as the field comes closer together at the moment to how are they supposed to decipher what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few mystery puffs out there, and this tide is just throwing in that extra factor they haven't seen yet. You can see Luke Parkinson, Tech 2, doing a great job on the foils there, but he's not going to lay. So the lay line is where Phil Robertson's tacking right now. That's where he's going to put that tack in, and he knows he's going to make it around that mark from there.
And Euroflex, they're bearing away around that top mark there with lots of pace on. They've had a great upwind. You can see they're 4-point foiling. They're rolling into a jibe there. Little touchdown, and it looks like they're transitioning to 3-point foiling with Goobs pulling up that windward board.
How about this for a subplot though, Tess? It's ID, they're back in the racing and they want to give a little bit of a shake to Tech 2, the boat that knocked them out.
Here we go, gents.
Oh, this is going to be a thrilling little duel here. Plenty on the line, plenty of bragging rights and a little bit of a gesture as well, no doubt.
CJ, could be an issue.
Water! 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 2, 1, driving!
Yeah, my turn. And another close call. These two are really rattling each other's cage at the moment.
Yeah, happy max weight. Less board lift, please.
What about this from Ripper, Phil Robertson? He's had his bug rolls and he's firing out the front now.
Yeah, so textbook sailing there by record point. They saw the opportunity to jibe. They saw Tech 2 lift his bow, and they've just gone, we're jibing now. He's cross clear, and he's gotten out to the right-hand side of the track. So Tech 2's actually linked up a really nice puff. They got good VMG down the track at the moment, as Phil falling out of pressure on record point, getting sucked high again.
Seven's way down, boys. Here we go, jibing.
Phil calling, he needs the main more in the centre line to have more power into this jibe.
Probably not crossing,
It's critical, they need to cross ahead of Tech 2.
Driver up! No, it's fine, it's fine. Power on! Trevor up, boys. Guys, you've got to stay on top of your trim, Sam.
That's about as feisty as Phil Robertson gets. It's pretty tense out there.
You can see the dark patch on the water, and Phil Robertson on record points just missed that puff, and here you see Tech 2's pulled out 100 metres just like that in 15, 20 seconds.
These boats accelerate so fast. A 2-3 knot increase in pressure can mean a 5 knot increase in boat speed here. So whoever can link the pressures together the best is just gaining metres on the rest of the fleet. And Euroflex, they round the bottom mark to start sailing on the upwind leg.
You can tell while Phil Robertson was furious, he's just lost second to Tech 2.
Okay, we're 1 and in, okay? Stomp it, stomp it. Ease, 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 ease.
I think Phil Robertson wants an ease there, Tess, judging by things. I'm not sure if he's getting it at the moment. Doesn't seem easy, seems quite the reverse. Seems very tense on record point at this stage as Tech 2 prepare to round the mark there.
Not far off, yeah, thanks. Not far off it. Whoa!
Oh, a lot going on board Tech 2.
Oh!
On that roundup.
Look at that between Sam Newton there and Aidan Menzies. They were practically on the same lounge chair for a while there.
Yeah, so Luke Parkinson just getting a little chicken winged on the buttons there. He said he went the wrong way with the foils, so they've just gone a little high and crashed down.
Laid back Luke Parkinson taking responsibility there as Euroflex climbed further ahead, Tess.
Yeah, Nick, they're doing a great job of keeping a constant angle of heel. Both the windward and the leeward hulls are tracking the same distance above the water here, giving them great speed.
They are tracking for another victory. Can anyone knock them off? We're going to have to wait and see.
Don't worry about it. Copy. 3, 2, going wide here. 1, let's go.
Looking at a nice battle here between ID Intranet and Record Point. Both of them want third position at the moment. Neither Superfoiler giving a millimetre, Tess Parkinson.
Yeah, on board ID, you can see Ed Powers there pulling up the windward board in preparation to round the bottom mark. Fang Warren there on the main sheet, working hard. You've got to get that main right in as you do that turn around the bottom.
Bow down slightly.
Just easing sheet a little bit to avoid that channel mark, and now they're back up. They're into an upwind mode, and you can see Ed on the bow and Fang on the main sheet just working the sails in time together to get good boat speed here.
Jack, you've got a vantage point for something awesome now.
I just got the Tech 2 tacking right in front of me here, so they're the story of the day for me. They've been pulling off jibes left, right and centre. They've got the bit between the teeth, certainly, Nick. They're absolutely sailing like legends. And the Record Point just nipping at their heels, so that race isn't over yet. And the usual distance between the Euroflex and the fleet isn't as big, so yeah, very interesting stuff.
Jack talking about the gap there between Tech 2 and Euroflex, our undefeated series leader at the moment, anticipating for that one to close. Hopefully it does, Tess, because that would be a thrilling battle to see unfold.
Yeah, we're seeing the racing getting a lot closer here, and the top 4 are right in the battle here. This could be anyone's race, really, with the pressure differences across the course. We've still got another lap in it, but Euroflex, they're making life easy for themselves. They're sailing good ley lines and getting maximum distance to the boundaries.
Tess, they're making it look oh so easy. What say you, Jimmy? Should we go and grab the tiller and steer Euroflex around?
Yeah, look, just because it looks easy doesn't mean that it is. I know that those Euroflex boys who, you know, are really flexing their muscles here, they capsized 3 out of their first 7 sails on the Superfoiler. So they got given the keys and they flipped it over 3 of their first 7 sails. And I tell you what, they really didn't mean to. You're definitely not meant to. But that just shows how hard these boats are to sail.
Wait in.
Trav up, please.
Trav.
We're good.
Stand by, board down, please. Go board.
They just overlaid coming into the top mark there. It's cost them a bit of distance.
1. Jibing. Sorry, just the pole.
And some great manners there from Luke Parkinson. The please and thank yous. I reckon he'll be asking for a bit more speed, please. As we see pavement, they were involved in a tangle at the start of the racing, and they're emerging ahead of Cleanmate at the moment. So Steve Thomas doing something right there.
You can see Steve, he's holding onto the trap handle. He's got to grab that bottom hook and get clipped in here, but a great overview of the course. We can see Euroflex and Tech 2 on the downwind in first and second. Right at the top of the course, ID and Record Point with a close battle between second and third, and then Pavement and Cleanmate here at the bottom of the upwind. So we've got 3 contests within this race. And you can see the pressure differences out there. It's so hard to handle the boats and to keep them stable. As they get more pressure, you can just see if you don't correct the rudder lift properly, the hulls really fly out of the water.
And that sloppy sailing from Euroflex has opened the door for Tech 2. Their once 300-metre lead has been scythed to less than 30. The contest is on. The battle is set.
Okay, we caught Euro here.
Yeah.
Tech 2 acknowledging they're close to the lead.
Yep.
The only reason we're high. Another full lap here?
Yep.
And for the first time on the Gold Coast,
they're not laying either.
No, we're going to go all the way to the rock floor.
Yep.
Nice safe lay. Give it plenty.
Euroflex is well and truly in trouble at this moment.
The wind has shifted left here.
Yeah, so next jibe, super important here. You can see Glenn Ashby and Goobs moving through the boat. Nathan Outers choosing to stay to leeward, and a really nice job by them. I think they're going to come out of this really well. But you know, we saw at the end of the Geelong event, Parker doing some amazing jibes as Nate just falls off the foils there.
Yeah, I don't know if that was necessarily good, Jimmy. That could prove costly there as they just bury it a little.
Stand by, board up round the outside.
And Luke Parkinson is left licking his lips and closing distance.
Stand by, board up now. Keep the windward heel.
The battle's on, baby. Less than 10 metres now. And Tech 2, all they needed was a glimpse, and they're going to dial this all the way through. The Broadwater battle has only just begun, Tess.
Yeah, look, they came in with a lot of speed into the bottom mark. They did round slightly wider here, so they're going to reach that boundary first and ask for room to tack.
Stand by, tack. Order! Hang on, keep going. 3, 2, 1, go board.
Attacking. Aiden, wait forward. Ah!
Textbook move by Nate.
Too early again, mate.
Yep, way too early. Understood.
Too early again, mate.
Simo tack, keep your bow in front, lead them out from the boundary. So Nate says, no worries, you take your water. I'm going to be nose in front and lead you out to that next pup.
Same with the drive, yeah.
Nathan Outteridge summoning all his Olympic experience there to close the gate. But Luke Parkinson won't be throwing it away at this stage. He's been given a sniff as we see record point and ID in the battle for third and fourth as well.
Nice.
Nice amount of windward heel here. They have been able to hold that lead.
Only just.
Yeah, but as Luke Parkinson said, Tess, only just. They've got a sniff, and so do we. As record point looks to put on a few more metres.
3, 2, 1.
And ID closing in on them as we see Sam ducking underneath and the skipper, Phil, going down too. Look at that. He looks like an egghead there, Sam Phillips. Not sure how much safety that's offering.
Going left-hand turn. Protest!
ID have room on the bottom mark.
No, we're good, go.
Now.
Oh, just as they've caught the marker, ID have splashed down as well. A little moment of uncertainty. We'll see it again. CJ calling protest like a student in class. He got the hand up and he passed. Look how close that was. And this is what happened to record point after the close one. Phil.
No, we're good,
Picks it up for a second and drops it off a bit later. Back to the battle for first and second now. Euroflex still holding Tech 2 at bay, but only just as we battle it along the Broadwater. It's 50 metres at the moment.
Every little detail on the boat just flowing together makes such a big difference. You can't win these races with any mistakes here. And Aiden Menzies on the main sheet there.
They've overlaid, I reckon.
Pulling it in, working hard.
Stand by board. 3, 2, 1, go board. Tacking.
Here's where you see that tidal effect. There's the mark, the white boy in the middle of the screen, and Nathan just ripped on the treadmill away from that buoy. You can see he's going to round wide. Interesting to see he's rounding on one foil there. As it just crashes down. Often you see those guys drop that windward foil before they turn down.
Often, but not today, Jimmy. The pressure really starting to tell for Euroflex.
Nice. Stand by bearing away.
And that's all Luke Parkinson will need.
Here you see Luke Parkinson already dropped that windward foil. That's going to help him get down the track immediately as he rounds. And I think he's going to take a chunk out of Nathan here. So Nathan rounded over 100 metres ahead. Parker already down to 70, 60.
It's tense on board at the moment, Tech 2. Oh, just taking the pressure off a little.
Got to be so quick to adapt in these conditions, the gusty conditions, the current. So hard to get the boat stable. You've got to be happy with getting it as close to perfect as you can.
Well, perfect is Nathan Outteridge's middle name. I've checked that with the official reference book here, and it is perfect. The Dexter says he favours his right hand, and he's got his left hand on the tiller at the moment, steering to perfection. And these boys can taste another win. But I'm sure Tech 2 will have something to say about this as we get to the final stages of this, the final leg.
Yep. You can see they're extending all the way to the boundary line, right near the spectator boats.
Driving.
Scurrying along here, the Tech 2 boys.
Getting too much fluid heel on the exit, gents.
So that's Luke calling that the crew weight's being moved through too quickly in the jives. He can't steer to keep up with the crew. The jives have got to happen. You've got to work with the wind, work with the momentum of the boat.
Yeah.
Tessa clearly not much in this contest at the moment. 100 metres max as we see Euroflex getting ready. We see Glenn Ashby there really holding on for grim life.
Yeah, we got this. Speed build Aiden, ease please. Yep. Okay, stand by, drive.
And Tech 2 calling a speed build. They'll build all the way to the finish. It's gold rush time here on the Gold Coast. Tech 2 is in a fierce battle with Euroflex. It's 1 and 2. Anyone's game at this stage, Tess Parkinson.
Yeah, Nick, we're on the downwind run of this race here, and such a tight battle between Euroflex and Tech 2. We can see them here 3-point foiling here, trying to make the most of these pressure lines to carry them down to the finish.
And this is the battle for 3rd and 4th at the moment. It's float to float. It's like the Mardi Gras out there. They're really close.
So I think we got him here.
And some convergence. Tech 2 think they've got them.
Oh, it's going to be close, Tess. It's 1 of 2. It's a slingshot finish. And they're in the drink. It's a dog of a day for Tech 2. Luke Parkinson's called the protest. Aidan Menzies hanging on. Euroflex given the win. But it's a second separating the two.
Oh my God, Parker just throwing everything out of there in the end. We know he doesn't hold back, but that was incredible, extremely dangerous there. As 2 crew just get completely thrown off. They're stuck in the tide. They're going to have to get this boat back upright. Luckily, they have finished. Their score does count.
I'm not sure if they know that, Jimmy, amongst the chaos of trying to right the boat. As we take a look at it again, Tess, was there call for a protest?
You can see Euroflex is the inside boat here as they round the mark, so they have all rights to round the pin on the inside here. Tech 2 have to give them room there. Port starboard doesn't apply.
Stop it!
This is going to be the best angle, the boom cab.
Whoa, flying out there.
Oh my goodness.
Stop it!
Look at that. Look how close they were. One stage I thought Sam Newton was going to land on board Euroflex.
That's just so cool. They kept the pressure on right to the end, Nick. They were gaining that whole downwind.
Oh, this will be a great angle.
You can see Euroflex a late jibe to keep that inside position, and Goobs on the front looking behind.
Those boys look like they're out on a Sunday picnic. They're not phased at all. That's incredible.
They've gone lifted and soft.
Okay, little less lift, please.
And we can hear now from ID, that's Paul Campbell-James, asking for a little less lift. That's the battle for 3rd at the moment. If we thought the contest for 1st and 2nd was close.
And that's Olivia screaming right of way. She's on the upwind.
4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, 1 second split 1st and 2nd. Could 1 second split 3rd and 4th. This one's going to go right down to the wire as well.
Really tight battle here between ID, Paul Campbell-James and Phil Robertson record point. They've been within 100 metres this whole race, just neck and neck going for that 3rd spot.
You can see ID 4-point foiling here. They're on the inside. Record point getting right out to the boundary.
More left.
Jack, are you making sense of all this?
Need more.
Yeah, epic stuff down here, Nick. That was a full throttle downwind leg by the Tech 2 guys. They absolutely nailed it, and now they've tipped it in, but it looks like everyone's getting it under control. We've got the safety boats there. They'll get the riding line on in a few minutes and pull it upright. But at the same time, we've got record point and ID coming in for a very tight finish.
You've got that absolutely right. This is going to be a nail biter.
I think it's 2. Positive almost. Speed, boys. Speed, speed, speed.
It's Phil just talking about how much rake he's putting into the foils.
Go, go, go.
Rolling into a jibe. They're not going to lay the finish on this jibe, so there's still more manoeuvres to do.
Oh, more manoeuvres and more chances to fluff it up. It's all on the line now.
Yeah, so if Record Point can lay the finish boat here, they're going to be in good stead. I think they're going to get that 3rd place, but you see CJ there, he's gone a little bit further. And if Phil has to throw another manoeuvre here, he's going to be very, very vulnerable.
Great work there, Jimmy, having a bet each way. No one knows what's going to happen, least of all the skippers.
One, go.
You can see that black and white finish pin and the start boat with the orange flag. Mark the finish line, and ID is on the inside. And it looks like they've just crossed ahead of Record Point.
Do we get him?
Although they don't know themselves, Tess, they're just as confused as the boys on Record Point, no doubt, are, as Pavement managed to recover from their devastating start to finish in 5th. 1 second.
Right, do we need to sort out all these take-ups?
1 second there between ID and Record Point.
I was max lift on leeward board and getting sucked up.
Yeah, okay. What a finish.
Yeah, cool. As soon as we tacked, I was like, no, don't.
Quite a bit of debriefing going on. And we've got here the line, upriding Tech 2.
Incredible pictures, Tess, to be on board as the Tech 2 goes upright.
Okay, take up. We can still beat Olivia, guys.
And Parko thinks he's still racing. Classic.
Not sure. Ask race committee. Ask race committee with a radio.
That current being against the winds carried them a long way up the course, so they're going to have to bear away and get sailing downwind if they want to get through that line.
Oh, I love this, Tess. Parko thinks he's still racing clean, mate. He doesn't know they've crossed the line. So this is only a psychological battle, really, as far as clean mate are concerned. But Parko wants Sam to get on the blower and find out what's going on, and that's not happening so far.
Just ask the race committee. Just say our bow went.
Identify the question. They'll know if we're fucking over.
It's still confusion there, Tess.
Yeah, Sam's saying, look, it's in the past. Let's just get through that line again. We're headed in that direction anyway, and then we'll find out. So they're clean mate here on their last approach to the finish as well. They've got around the course nicely here in such tricky conditions.
Not sure what I'm doing with this mark yet. Going to leave it.
Olivia Price on board, just deciding which side of the channel mark she's going to go. And Nick, I think she's done a sensational job getting around the course. I mean, all this current, all the carnage we've seen out there, such tight boundary lines. You know, these guys make it look easy, but on board it's such a beast to handle.
Absolutely, that's half the battle, staying on board. Tech 2 didn't quite manage that. They sent 2 soaring.
Down through the line, setting up. 2, 1.
And the communication on board following all the way through to the finish, and you can see she's pretty close to getting through that finish pin.
All right, I should have minimised the risk there.
Oh, that's classic. I should have minimised the risk from Parko.
We finished second, right? Yes.
And he's chuffed. Just had confirmation he finished second.
Nothing.
So Parko, that was a close finish with the Euroflex. You almost had him. You were smoking down that run, pulling off jibes. What happened at the end?
Oh, mate, yeah, we're so quick downwind and we got the manoeuvres down. We thought we had a sniff of hope. I actually got the bit of a misinterpretation on the rule there. So they had rights just to bear and go through the finish. So we sort of went for a last ditch to get our nose in front. But yeah, they pipped us by the, the skin of our teeth.
Yeah, you catapulted off the side of the boat, mate.
Mate, the G-force there was no staying with that boat. She was gone.
You guys have really got a handle on the thing downwind. Are you happy with that? And where are the improvements going to come from?
Yeah, downwind, it seems like we can definitely jibe, probably the best in the fleet at the moment, but sometimes it takes us a little bit to get up to speed. So, just working on the moding a little more, and then upwind, we've got some speed gains to come, and I think we've picked up a few little secrets, so we're looking forward to more racing tomorrow.
Excellent. We'll look forward to double points on Sunday.
Yeah, Super Sunday, bring it on.
Absolutely, bring it on. Can't wait to see that. What a close race that was, race number 5 on the Gold Coast. Euroflex with the cookies, 1 second ahead of Tech 2. And then ID and record point, just a single second separating them. Jack McCartney is with the victor of that mini battle within a battle.
Okay, CJ, race 2. That's a great result. You pipped the record point on the line. That's a little bit better. What was going on?
Yeah, that was a good finish. We just glided through and just got them by a fraction. And actually, we thought we got Tech 2 as well, because they must have been pretty close to not crossing that finish line. But yeah, it's nice to bounce back after that bad run of form, and long may that continue.
It's a very tight track, but seemingly it's going okay. You guys are getting around cleanly. People are foil jibing. Yeah. How was that?
Yeah, we had a real nice foil jibe in that race. We still think we're gaining a lot upwind and losing a bit downwind, especially on one tack. But yeah, we just got to manage that for the rest of the day and get it all fixed for tomorrow.
What are you doing better upwind than everyone?
We're just pushing harder.
I like it. You got the right boys on for it.
We definitely do, yeah.
Put a fork in me, I am done. What a race that was. That is worth another sneak peek. Let's review some of the carnage, chaos and crazy moments of our second race of the day.
Great test!
Oh my goodness! We've lost both of them overboard. A belting day on the Gold Coast. We're set for some more thrilling racing here on Queensland's Glitter Strip, looking back at some pretty impressive runway here where our Superfoilers will soon be purring.
I'll go outside Steve here, okay? Coming up.
in the other hand trying to push him.
All right, let's go same game plan with the start. Seems to be working pretty good.
Right, we are going to beat Nathan in this race, lads, just so you know.
Listen to that from CJ.
Someone offered us $500.
Someone who puts their money where their mouth is Jack McCartney. Jack, what's the latest?
I reckon you can expect some fireworks between the Tech 2 and the Euroflex. Certainly there's a strong rivalry there, even though they were partners in crime in the Artemis Americas Cup, but that was all guns blazing, Nick.
Jack, he certainly made his thoughts clear to you there at the post-race interview, Parko did at least, in that he wasn't sure about the interpretation of the rules. Did you get the feeling that he may lodge a protest later on? He was pumped up.
He was certainly pumped up, but I don't think he's going to lodge a protest. What happens on the water stays on the water with this racing, so it's all in good spirit, but as you can see, they're very, very serious about winning.
15 seconds to the start. You can see this port tack approach working again, so they get that longer run off the start line to the boundary.
And knock me over with the leaf test. Pavement's not in trouble for the start of this race.
No, all clear this start, Nick, and you can see ID have won the start. They've leaped out miles ahead, which is awesome to see. They're sticking to what they said. They're going to beat Nathan in this one.
That was a really bad stall.
Really twisted.
Yep.
Yeah, he's absolutely launched here off that line. Really good time and distance, good slingshot off the line, and he's going to be first to hit the boundary on the right, throw the tack back. There he goes.
And we hear Tech 2 call. They're going to duck behind CJ. They're going to continue going right all the way to the boundary, and record point with good speed on the upwind as well.
It's amazing to see how close these Superfoilers are to each other. They're really pushing the limits. We've seen them come so far since Adelaide. Geelong just grew them in confidence, and now they're hammering these purring machines round the racetrack.
Perfect work there by Phil on record point. Euroflex having to duck. Phil got rights on starboard tack there.
So this is where we're seeing the battle at the moment between Euroflex and Record Point. Countering blows in the quest for first position here, right of way around the racetrack, and at the moment the benefit lies with Record Point.
3, 2, 1, go.
And Team ID, they're on a bit of a runner here. They're connecting the pressures together well. On board Record Point.
And Sam Phillips, his hat's not doing much good there. He looks like a Rastafarian.
Yours. You can hear the clear communication of the skipper initiating the entry of the tack.
Record points come off the boundary here, and it's going to be really tight between them and Euroflex.
Oh, it's super tight, Jimmy. Look at that. Euroflex just squeezing out. Much to Phil Robinson's annoyance.
Phil's trying to call water on the boundary. Euroflex trying to get him on starboard.
And Jimmy, the referee's whistle's going berserk. Perhaps Jack McCartney made something of that.
Yeah, that was a little incident between Record Point and Euroflex. Record Point had right of way in terms of calling water, and Euroflex tacked in their water in my view, so not sure if they've got a penalty or not, but I thought Record Point was in the right.
I'm sure Phil Robinson would be the first person to agree with you. Jimmy, your boys sailing well.
Here we go, it's all about this top mark rounding. You've got to absolutely blow the doors off this top mark, get it on the foils and just rip it away.
Copy that.
Very close between these three. It looks like the pressure's lighter at the top here. Euroflex gets away cleanly.
Stand by. Yep. 2, 1, tacking.
Tech 2 tacking onto the ley line.
Euroflex has got a nice little cushion here, 7 seconds ahead of Record Point with ID 10 seconds behind. Looks a little wild on Euroflex though.
Wait forward.
Here's number 4, Tech 2. So close in our last race, they were within touching distance.
And there's not far for them to go after the bear away before they've got to do the jibe, and ID's just got inside of Record Point here as Sam pushes out on that trap, grabs the main sheet, and they're away.
Such close racing, Jimmy.
Yeah, and Tech 2's jibes, they're just superior of Record Point and ID. Simo jibe on the inside, and they've just taken instantly 100 metres.
What do you want? Yeah, wait. Sorry. Whoa. Too much negative in this one. More riding moment in this board. Positive, positive.
They want to get that windward hull to lift higher out of the water.
2, 1, driving.
Amazing core strength there from Luke Parkinson. He's a Volvo round the world sailor and he's got amazing physical attributes.
4, holding.
I still feel like you guys are leaving a little early.
And they're all being put to the test right now. Look how close
please.
we have 4 Superfoilers.
No wind here.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yep, just let you know.
Okay, right.
Better make that 5 because Pavement's in the picture now. Steve Thomas steaming into contention. Those boys have just leapfrogged their way into 3rd position.
4-point foiling technique they're using here.
Work our way through the track.
You know what they say, sun's out, guns out, and the boys on Euroflex are sending some missiles down the track right now. It's 130 metres plus and climbing with every second.
Driving in 5. Holding here.
It's quite a handy lead as ID continues to cut through. They're back in 2nd now.
Driving in 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now.
That's Paul Campbell-James, you can hear, calling that jibe into the bottom. They've got some nice lateral separation here on the rest of the group, and Pavement and Record Point in with a tight battle in the middle of the fleet there.
Oh mama, what a race we've got on our hands. It's our final race of the day on the Golden Gold Coast. Euroflex is ahead. Pavement, Record Point, Tech 2 and ID all very much in the mix at this stage.
Yep. Stand by jibe. 3, 2, 1, jibing.
As the teams work their way on the downwind towards the bottom mark. Not quite a foiling jibe there. You can see Euroflex, they're around the bottom. Heading out to the left on the upwind.
Stand by jibe.
Come on, please.
CJ on board ID, you can hear there. Still got 2 more laps up to the top mark.
And this is where we keep seeing these big gains and losses. Bottom of the track, getting in and out of this bottom gate. If you go down speed, you just get sucked back upwind. And a good split.
What up?
Record Point opting to round the left mark instead of going round the outside of Pavement, and ID here.
Okay, rounding up in 3, 2, 1. Now.
Also rounding the left bottom mark.
Leave the board down. Tacking in 3.
Perfect rounding there by ID, coming in really fast and just whipping it around that buoy. You can see how much distance they took out.
Jimmy, usually it's Tech 2 that's the most frenzied, but it seems like ID are dialing up the excitement so far in this race.
Board's cleated. Nice rounding, guys. It's coming, it's all good. Twist. Twist.
Amazing to see them round the same time. They've both split to different sides of the course, and it looks like Pavement's gone the better way. They're going to cross in front.
Finally some luck there for the Sydney to Hobart winner Steve Thomas. Pavement's got one right, and they're into 2nd position behind Euroflex.
3, 2, 1, go.
And ID have reached the boundary. They're going through attack now. All of the teams out there are trying to sail as far as they can, and you can see Record Point are a bit further up the course, so they can go a little more distance before they make their tack on the boundary, come back to the middle of the course, and so close racing here. Oh, a bit too much pressure on the exit of the tack there, just causing them to heel over, but good save. Sam's just got to run in, get the main sheet, get back out on the wire, and they'll be away.
And we can see that ID Intranet, Paul Campbell-James, is exploiting that mistake. They're in 3rd position, putting metres onto Record Point, who currently sit 4th. This is great racing across the board here as we get a wider look at how the racetrack is panning out as Pavement makes its way past our VIP spectator vessel, who've got a bird's eye view of this thrilling battle.
Okay, tacking in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So Tech 2 bouncing off that boundary, ID tacking in sync with them, trying to give that bad air. Here we go, Euroflex once again at the top mark.
Bad air, but not a bad seat in the house for Euroflex dialing it in. Jack, you're on the water. What are you making of this race? It seems to me one of the best skirmishes we've had to date.
Yeah, Nick, this is the best race of the series so far, I think. I think you're seeing 2, 3, 4, very, very close together, and 5. So really, really tight racing. You can see everyone's on a steep learning curve, and the gap between them and Euroflex is getting smaller and smaller each manoeuvre.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, don't make attack. Stop it! Hey! Tapping, go now.
Way across it. Let's go race out the way.
Leave the board, leave the board. Yes. Put some negative on it, please.
There's going to be some hoarse voices in the boat park tonight. There's been a lot of screaming today on the race course.
Interesting there, ID had pavement on starboard, made them tack and then immediately split. Classic match racing move, and you can see how much distance they've pulled out.
An intense tactical move from ID there. They had the edge on that starboard ley line, forcing pavement to tack, and have just made up great distance.
Cleared. Stand by taking off.
On, lift on.
It was a great manoeuvre, that one, and now pavement's in third.
Little weight out. Clock.
But there's nothing between second, third and fourth.
Stand by, turning, go tight.
Here we go, who can do the foiling job?
1.
Pavement smoked a really good one there as Tech 2 crashes off the foils. Record Point on the inside. Awesome job by Record Point getting through there.
Tess, it's amazing to see how one tiny little mistake can shift the racing completely.
Oh, it is, Nick, and there's such a balance between pushing the boat all the way to the boundary and jibing in time to stay with the pressure, and you can see pavement there. They saw pressure on the inside, so they jibed early, and they've made a nice gain on the run here. ID and Record Point pushing it hard out to the ley line. The 2 on trapeze and the 4-point foiling seems to be working well here. They're making good distance downwind.
1, driving Aiden. 1.
Still a lot of current out here on the course, Nick. You can see it's taking them a long time to get downwind because they're sailing against the current.
It's incredible to watch. This really is one of the most fiercely contested little tete-a-tetes we've had so far.
Max. Copy. A little more jib on Eddie, please. Nice, good work.
Looks like right angle. Okay, happy. Stand by, 2, 1, and rolling.
Sometimes you get a bit of momentum and you can just keep connecting the dots together and get a nice jump on the group, and that's exactly what Pavement have done on this downwind.
Driving, never got going there.
And hearing from Luke Parkinson, the skipper on Tech 2, they're hardly able to string it together for this particular race. Maybe they're still shell-shocked after the last finish.
Okay, sheet on now, fangy a little bit. On. Lift Eddie, please. Max, lift, please.
And everyone's closed in on Euroflex. Their lead has been gobbled up.
Now we've got one more upwind and downwind to the finish. So this is our last bottom mark rounding before the final lap, as Euroflex is still in the lead. They're going to round the right mark at the bottom here. We're going to see the fleet converge as they all approach the bottom gate. It'll be up to who picks the ley line the best and who comes in with the most pressure.
Stand by. 2.
Got any more?
Yeah, so nothing in it here, and you can see that they're not in very good pressure. They're in a lull, they're not up and foiling, so if Pavement can flick out to the right-hand side of the track, they might pick up some different breeze that suddenly it'll be out of Euroflex's control.
And Pavement, they're going to round the right mark as well. A little bit down speed there.
Really now coming up. Stand by, drive. 2, 1, driving.
So it's Tech 2 and Record Point eyeing each other out.
If you can pick the ley line from distance out and come in on a hot angle with lots of speed, you're going to just make so much distance on the group.
Copy.
Driving in 3.
Oh, there's not much room here.
And ID have got inside rights, but it's too hard to make that tight turn, so Record Point have got room to go in there.
Inside, schminside, this is going to be close.
Hey! Big mains. I need room, wait in! I have a post there! Okay, go. 2 tacks here, lads, 2. Yeah, wait up though.
Now you can hear the intensity on Record Point.
Main on, come on, back to jib. Main on, back.
Phil couldn't see ID, and ID couldn't see Phil.
Hang on, hold. can't they? Had a penalty.
And it looks like record point have been inflicted with the penalty. They're doing their turns or they've stalled up.
Painful stuff there for record point. Tough situation. You can hear that Phil is getting frustrated. That's really got to him, but he's got a piece of Tech 2 here to get one back.
Tech 2 have stayed out of the action and they're in good pressure there, so still in such a close battle. Clean made on the downwind to the bottom marks, flying through the screen. Calling for a speed build.
Copy.
As we see this again, Tess, it was a gutsy move for Paul Campbell-James to flick it round, but the boys on record point just held course. They kept going. They had nowhere to go. That's the reality, and unfortunately, Ed Powey's spinal cord had nowhere to go. It got a nice close-up inspection with the port float there.
Yeah, Nick, record point didn't have any inside rights, but because of the wide turn made by ID, they sent it in there.
Big mains. I need room, wait in! Go on! By the post there!
That post was not going anywhere, neither was record point. They'll still be going for glory on the other side of this. That hiss, that hum, the roar of the Superfoiler at full flight. This is our race leader, our series leader. The Euroflex boys absolutely screaming. Further back, we've got a race for second and third, fourth even. It's close quarters.
So push past record point here if we can. Okay, ducking. Sheet on hard, please. Nice work, boys.
Paul Campbell-James on ID really starting to throw down some intensity on this racetrack.
And they've still been able to make the top mark with that bear away, and Tech 2 sending it in. They've got good pace for the rounding. Close racing here. And as we have a look at that again, record point was on starboard. They had rights there, so ID had to duck behind.
Sheet on hard, please.
Bear away into that power zone. Oh, crew hit the water.
Tech 2 crash off the foils. Phil Robertson at record point sneaks through the inside. Awesome foiling job by record point. That's going to convert to about 50 or 100 metres.
As it stands, Jimmy, about 50 metres between third, fourth and fifth.
Copy.
And Pavement here comfortably held on to second.
Stand by. 2, 1, and going.
An eventful 2 opening races here on the Gold Coast for Steve Thomas on Pavement. And after some early calamities, all of a sudden things starting to go to plan as we see Euroflex rounding the marker. They're called the Dream Team and they're making it look like a dream, these three. Nathan Outteridge, Ian Jensen, Glenn Ashby, Ronaldo, Messi, Maradona, all on one Superfoiler. These guys are the best in the business and they're putting on a dream outing right now. Look at them go. Pavement can barely see them anymore.
I think we're going to go late.
So close out there, you know. We can see they actually are touching each other's boats at times, and ID getting stuck in the lull on the left of your screen there. Really just glued to the water, can't get going, and record point and Tech 2 are just legged out here.
Yep. And 2, 1, go.
They're approaching the bottom mark rounding for the last time in this race. Then they'll sail back upwind to the top mark and then downwind through the finish.
Yeah, we will. Let's go max negative now.
Lockie Gilmore, it's his first weekend on Pavement and he's eyeing off a second place finish. He'll be thinking this superfoiling stuff isn't too bad at all. And this is a gorgeous shot looking across to Pavement now.
Just on the boundary.
Everyone's got the hang of the current here, Nick. They know that they've got to give that bottom mark a bit of a wide curve to get around.
And our drone operator, Tess, has the hang of the breeze that Steve was chasing. Is floating across Pavement as we see Tech 2 and record point float forward.
Here we go. So Phil has rights. Tech 2 can't drive into them until Phil lets them.
Keep away. Stand by, drive. 3, 2, go. 1, driving, got to lead this.
Record point leading into the jibe. Tech 2 following. We've got a simultaneous jibe happening between these two.
It's a beautifully choreographed set play there. It's like watching the Nutcracker unfold here on the Gold Coast.
No, he's not.
Wait in. Forwards, gliding to left mark.
Parker opting left mark, record point splitting, going right mark.
Here we go.
We've got a split here, record point going left. Tech 2 heading out to the right.
What have you done here?
Okay, I won't. Just leave it. Jib on, please.
Phil Robertson staying out of play.
Prefer jib first. Okay, bow's coming down, here we go.
But I'd highly encourage the Kiwi to tell Sam how to put a helmet on.
I want you to get going first. We'll see how we go. I'd love to get down to that buoy, but I don't think it's going to happen.
And ID, I wonder if they've had damage to their foils from hitting the top mark.
Potentially, Tess. They were in the lead at one stage, but now there's no doubt who the leader is. It's Euroflex, undefeated so far as we see ID limping towards those gates.
Ed Powers working hard to pull up that windward foil as they round the bottom. You can see the wind's shifted right. They might make it to the right-hand side of this spit post they've all been avoiding.
Yeah, amazing here. And I think Pavement are eating into that Euroflex lead. Doing really well here. I think Euroflex has just struggled. I think there's bigger lulls out on the racetrack appearing and more places just to get caught out. Pavement definitely catching up to Euroflex here.
You can see a really distinct current line working at the top of the course. So around the top mark, there's some sort of change happening in the current that the teams would need to be adapting to. And they're on their final downwind now.
Above green.
And Jimmy, you're absolutely right. Pavement has closed the gap. Steve Thomas with a little bit of a look in here.
Stand by. 2, 1, and tacking.
And the Rainbow Rocket Ship would be loving the chance to steal some glory here on the Gold Coast, prospecting for a nugget or two.
They've done the hard work now. It's just about holding on and playing it safe.
Bearing in 2, 1, bearing now.
Pavement just keeping it sensible, nothing too extreme. Keep the pointy end up in the sky, get her to the finish.
You're out. East jib.
Yeah. You can sail a more conservative mode.
Well, conservative's not a word I'd use for Tech 2, anything but for these boys.
Mine, yours.
2 boats on starboard here on different legs of the course. Pavement sending it down to the finish.
Good work, boys.
Excellent speed from the Pavement boys. They're really starting to soar as Tech 2 dig in as well.
A close crossing here between Record Point, Tech 2.
2, 1, tacking. Best thing we can do is slow them down there.
So Tech 2 had to sail past the line of Record Point to be clear before they tacked.
And stand by Tremont, can't see the mark, we're good.
And Luke Parkinson even conceding all he could do was slow down Record Point.
Stand by jibe. Hang on, 3, 2, 1, jibing.
But it doesn't look like he slowed her down too much, although perhaps just enough because she edges in front now, Tech 2, as Sam gets a wedgie on the way down.
You okay, Sam?
And this is the winning moment for Euroflex. So far, their winning record in the Gold Coast is intact. Somebody stop them. Nobody can so far. Their unblemished run endures.
Swing. Big high five on board there. They've got to be happy with that. Clean sweep. They've won every race, Nick.
No doubt about it, Tess. Their hands will be getting sore from all those high fives. They'll be calloused from the enthusiasm as we see Record Point has leapfrogged Tech 2 and is starting to turn the knife.
We've got a jibing battle going on here between Record Point and Tech 2, and Record Point initiates the jibe and far out.
Oh man, overboard on Record Point. That's Neil Hunter, the bowman. Tech 2 fly behind. That could be an overtake.
And I hope that Neil Hunter's okay on board record point. That would have been a hard impact, hitting the front bar and swinging around the front like that. So let's just hope that he's all okay. And Pavement about to cross the finish line in second. They've had a great result this race. Well done, boys.
Well, guys. Good end. Good racing. The 4 point upwind. She's good for heaves.
High spirits there on Pavement as we review the moment. It all went wrong for record point. Neil Hunter there, the Flying Scotsman, whack onto the side of the main there. That would have really hurt as we take another look, because one's never gruesome enough. Whooshka, there he is, into the side. He's all right, he's still racing, and record point still closing in on the points here.
That's what it is. That's definitely what it is.
Yeah. Saved it.
Yeah.
Good though.
I can just feel it, eh?
They've figured out a technique in the jibes. It seems to be working for them. 2 crew going through in front of the mast, keeping their weight forward.
Good here.
Record point steaming in now, but it looks to be a case of not enough runway.
Smashed him on that downwind. Copy that.
A bit of bad luck on board record point there with that round up after the jibe.
It's definitely what it is in the jibe. I lost me bloody foam. It's out of my helmet. And the bloody tiller extension came untied. It was getting stuck.
Bit of ventriloquism there.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard Luke Parkinson put his foot in it, but he's put something else in it just there. As record point, they're going to take 4th, and Sam's going to take a long, hard look at his hairstyle as far as, there we go, Sam, good boy. Finish the racing, better secure the helmet. Really sensible stuff there, excellent.
Just have a look at ID there. We did fight well that race, guys. We didn't sail that great, that one, but I think we learnt a lot.
Yeah,
with, you know,
that down speed on.
Yeah.
Maybe this race isn't over yet to see who gets the wooden spoon here in this race, but Cleanmade opting for an early jibe. CJ will be happy with that, getting a big split. He's still pulling down that boundary.
Tess, what on earth happened to ID? They were in first, they're now fighting for last.
Yeah, Nick, I'm thinking they've got some damage to their foil. You can see in this view here along the trailing edge, it's quite damaged right down there along the waterline, which would make it hard for them to lift it up and down inside the hull.
Okay, jump back.
Yeah, ID having a super tough regatta this week. Just not going their way. A lot of depth of talent on that boat, and I'm sure they'll regroup. They'll come out firing for the double points tomorrow, but...
Something wrong with these foils.
Paul Campbell-James going the old tradesman, looking for what's wrong with the tools trick there, and it probably is the foils, I would imagine, as Cleanmade rounded out. Olivia Price, the London Olympic silver medalist, Josh McKnight, a world champion, Harry Morton, a world champion. So much pedigree on the Cleanmade, and 6th position for them on the Gold Coast. That will really sting. Expect bigger things from them as we check out race 6, how it unfolded. 23 minutes 38 the winning time from Euroflex ahead of Pavement, Tech 2, record point, ID and Cleanmade. How does that stack up across the regatta? Well, we can see Euroflex 6 from 6, Tech 2 and record point level on points ahead of Cleanmade, ID and Pavement, and Jack is with one of the victorious sailors.
So Glenn, another 3 wins, mate. That's 21 in a row. How are they going to beat you?
Oh, look, it's, everyone's still, as we keep saying, learning plenty every time you go out. We're learning plenty every time we go out, so it's just going to be a matter of time, I think, before we get knocked off. But some fantastic racing and, just absolutely awesome fun.
So that was probably the best racing I've seen in the series so far. That was very tight between 2nd to 5th, and you were pushed really hard by Tech 2. What do you think?
Yeah, look, they're sailing the boat really well. They're sort of a little bit hot and cold. When they're on, they're absolutely on, and they're almost unstoppable. But, they're just the consistency for those guys, I think, was probably just lacking a little bit overall for the day. But they're coming, as are the others. So, no, we've got to absolutely sail our best to make sure we stay in front, and everyone's learning plenty. So it's going to be exciting, and tomorrow's another big day.
Thank you, Glennie. Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, mate.
Shane Warne and Glenn Ashby, two massive Zinc fans here. We're a huge fan of the Gold Coast. We've loved the racing. There's more coming up tomorrow and even more build-up as we get ready for the Express Superfoiler Grand Final coming up in Sydney. Things are building nicely. On behalf of Tess, Jimmy, Jack and myself, we hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll see you tomorrow.